Welcome to Doctrine and Devotion. It's a podcast that explores Christian faith and practice
It doesn't work for you.
from a Reformed Baptist perspective.
It's not working.
No, it's not?
Nah.
Hey, my name is Joe Thorne. I'm the lead pastor of Redeemer Fellowship in St. Charles, Illinois.
And I'm Jim Fowler, executive pastor at Redeemer Fellowship.
This is the only podcast that you really need to listen to. That's what I'm going to say right now.
Really?
I think this is it. I mean, you can listen to, you can listen to like Chandler sermons, right? Mm-hmm. Or you can listen to one of the podcasts that kind of like mimic us. That's fine.
There's like the Office Deep Dive podcast.
Oh no, I'm talking in the Christian world right now.
You know,
we're talking in the Christian
Brian,
world.
Oh,
we'll get to those.
Okay.
So in the Christian world, I'm not saying this is the only podcast. I'm saying within the Christian world, we are your source for all things that you need in your life: news, weather, theology, traffic. I think we cover it all.
Okay.
And so I think you're covered in the Christian world.
Oh, all right.
Okay, maybe not. No, but what about, is there a podcast that you always listen to that is outside of, Christian stuff that you're willing to share?
Yeah, that I'm willing to share. Yes.
So I qualified it for you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Episodes on The Office.
Yeah, okay. So that is it called Episodes on The
No.
Office?
So there's one that's called Office Deep Dive by Brian Baumgartner. He played Kevin Malone.
Yeah.
So I listened to that one, and then I do listen to what's called The Office Ladies.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's got Jenna Fisher,
Angela.
and McKinley. Or McKenzie. I can't pronounce the last name.
So
it's those two ladies.
So which was Angela and Peg, Ryan.
What?
What's her name? Pam. I don't remember. Okay, so Angela and Pam.
Yeah. So they go through
I bet that's
and
good.
rewatch every episode.
Yeah.
And then go through a bunch of like.
Oh, that's fun. I could try that. I could actually try that.
Yeah. I can't listen to it consistently
because it's with ladies.
I don't know if that's it. I've actually discussed it with Michelle because I'm like, I don't know if it's a style thing because like I love their stuff. You know what it is?
Okay,
I'm gonna say it.
All right, say it.
So every once in a while, we'll hear people say, "Enough with the banter."
Oh,
I feel that there because the banter feels forced.
Okay, yeah.
It feels forced.
Yeah.
Though they talk about being best friends and they're really close and everything, and so maybe it's just I don't get that kind of banter that they have.
Yeah.
But their substance is fantastic. But yeah.
Well, that's what's funny is you said about Brian Baumgartner.
Yeah.
So my only exposure to him, but for The Office, well, there wasn't any, right? I just I don't know if I've seen him in anything, but in The Office, and he's such a dummy, right? He
comes off very slow,
dumb, and he has that voice.
Yep.
I honestly only ever thought of him in that way, even if I know he's playing it up.
Yeah.
But that's probably how he sounds and everything. And then, like, he's super cool. He's a musician. Like, he's very cool. He's not, like, he's such a great
and his
actor.
voice is quite different.
You wouldn't recognize it.
No.
It's crazy.
No.
You look at a character like that, you're like, okay, that's a simpleton character.
Yep.
That's not super dimensional. I mean, Kevin is not a very dimensional, multi-dimensional figure or person.
Yeah.
On the show. So you think like, okay, but when you see what Baumgartner's really like, you're like, whoa, that's how good he is. Because he is a very multidimensional person who has a lot of gifts and qualities, and he's interesting and funny, that he can flatten it all out and present that sort of a thing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then the other podcast, it depends on the fight week.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll do the UFC Unfiltered one with Jim Norton and Matt Serra.
Oh, Jim Norton.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll do that one. Now, for those, just beware, language is quite different.
French? What are you talking about?
It's quite French.
Oh, there's a lot of foreign language.
Yeah, so I'll be like sitting there and I'll forget the kids in the car. And I'm like, oh, yeah. You got, what do you have this week? Tonight, what is it? Adam Vittori and Paulo Costa.
Okay.
Right?
I'm not even aware of this one.
And so I'm like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and just, listen to the pre-fight stuff, And, and I forget the kids are in the car. And all of a sudden, Dario's like, Daddy. I'm like, ah! I was like, I was like, my bad. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I listen to a lot of podcasts as I have time. So I've got a list, and I never I'm never able to listen to all of them. I have a pretty long list. So basically, I go to like new episodes each day, and I go, okay, what can I listen to maybe on the drive or while I'm getting ready in the morning? When I go to bed, definitely at night. But usually it's when I'm in the car. And so sometimes I'll have to drive to like where Jimmy's at for something.
Yeah.
And so that might be 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back. That's 30 minutes. I can get something done in terms of listening. One of the things that I do listen to more often than anything, more often than many other podcasts, is let me find it here. It's
Sasquatch
called,
Chronicles.
Okay, that's one of them that I listen to, but not all the time.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but I'll read one. I'll share one that I do listen to much more regularly.
Yes.
That's in the same genre.
Oh,
okay. So one is Reasonable Doubt. Reasonable Doubt is Adam Carolla. A lot of you know who that is. He's not a Christian. He's a secular comedian, filmmaker. And he has one of the most popular podcasts on the internet. And it's like 3 people talking about stuff. He interviews people. He actually does really good long-form interviews. However, what I listen to is Reasonable Doubt, which is him and famous lawyer Mark Garagos, famous defense attorney Mark Garagos. And they just talk about current legal things. And then they have a really tight friendship. So you get the banter stuff that you and I like. That's good because it's not a couple of ladies pretending. And then
making me feel bad. That's what I was like.
No, it's fine. Okay, so the other thing that I listen to is, and this is like funny. Let me find. Okay, it's called Monsters Among Us.
What is wrong with
Monsters
you?
Among Us. So Monsters Among Us, here's what it says. Monsters Among Us podcast is a call-in show about the unexplained, cryptozoology, and the paranormal. Witnesses of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, UFOs, ghosts, and more call in to share their experiences and encounters. So people call in, they leave a message like, here's what happened when I was like 10 years old. Because you can totally trust that testimony. I was 10 years old. I was with my best friend in the forest all night, and this is what happened. And some of them are creepy. Some of them are funny. Some of them are just interesting. A lot of them are like cryptozoology stuff, like, we saw this thing. So yeah, I listen to that every time that comes out. Yep. I listened to that last night when I went to bed.
Goodness.
Yeah. Hey, keeping it real. Just being honest.
Wow.
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to say what I'm into. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to censor myself like some people.
Why are you saying I'm
I didn't say you.
Yeah, you were.
No, I didn't. I said
you
like
looked
some
at,
people.
You looked at me and sniffed.
No, yeah. Allergies.
See? You do it again.
Mm-hmm.
You're crinkling your
I don't
nose
know
at me.
Listen, there are some people that aren't as transparent as others.
Yeah, I
awesome.
like how you pointed at me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And then pointed at yourself.
Okay, that's just gesturing.
Anyways.
Well, listen, we have something that's called All Access. If you are new to the podcast, you may not know about it. So we've been doing this podcast since 2016. And over the years, people have said, hey, we want to support the podcast. We've had a number of people say, can we send you guys some money?
Yeah.
And we're like, no.
That's weird.
We'll put something together for people that want to support us financially, and it'll be special. And so at the beginning of this year, was it? Yeah, it was the beginning. Yeah, 2021, we launched Doctrine and Devotion All Access, which gives you what everybody gets. You get a Monday and a Thursday episode of us doing what we do, but you also get daily devotions Monday through Friday, which is like 5 minutes long, meditating on scripture and whatnot. Then you also get another podcast that we do called Banter of Truth. So these are both of these things that we're talking about are commercial free, so you know no promotions in them. And they're only available for All Access members. And on Banter of Truth this week, we talked about the Mike Stone Russ Moore lawsuit. Stone versus Moore.
Stone versus Moore.
And we talked about that lawsuit and whether or not we think it's a legitimate lawsuit, if it has any place based on what we know, which is everything. And then we talked about whether or not Christians should be suing other Christians, because that's something that's all over the internet right now. Everybody's talking about that. And what's the principle that we've seen? When do people like to say, hey, 1 Corinthians 6, Christians can't sue Christians? When do we like to say that?
When it's Christians can't?
When do we say Christians can't do that?
Yeah, when it's the person we like being sued.
Wait a minute, I don't like you. And you're suing the guy I like?
1 Corinthians 6! But hold on.
Yeah.
But, the guy I like is suing a guy I don't like.
That's different.
Oh.
That's totally different.
Oh.
You don't understand 1 Corinthians 6 if you don't think he can sue.
At that point, no Corinthians 6.
Yeah, it's no Corinthians. So what we wanted to do is we actually wanted to share with you the second half of the Banter of Truth episode because we think it's actually important. We thank you so much for supporting this podcast by telling people. And for those all access members, thank you for financially supporting us so that we can do this and do more and offer conferences and things like that. Now, so this is part of what you would get with the Banter of Truth podcast. So we're going to share with you our discussion of 1 Corinthians 6, 1 through 8, I believe it is. And
then we'll just let it run out through the end.
Yeah,
we'll just do it that way.
And then just let us know. Let us know what you think on social media, because this is a worthy discussion. I've seen too much, and I'm sure there's good discussions too, but I've seen too much of proof texting and spoof texting without real understanding of what's happening in that passage. So let us know what you think.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more interested in talking about the claim that Christians can't sue Christians out of 1 Corinthians.
All right, let's talk about that.
All right.
So, 1 Corinthians?
1 Corinthians 6, 1 through 8. Do you want to read it?
I'll let you read it.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Well, oh, yeah. Can you steal my thunder? All right. When one of you has a grievance against another, does he dare go to law before the unrighteous instead of the saints? Or do you not know that the saints will judge the world? And if the world is to be judged by you, are you incompetent to try trivial cases? Do you not know that we are to judge angels? How much more then? Matters pertaining to this life. So if you have such cases, why do you lay them before those who have no standing in the church? I say this to your shame. Can it be that there is none among you wise enough to settle a dispute between the brothers, but brother goes to law against brother, and that before unbelievers? To have lawsuits at all with one another is already a defeat for you. Why not rather suffer wrong? Why not rather be defrauded? But you yourselves wrong and defraud even your own brothers. This is God's word. Okay, so this is the passage that people are appealing to. It's not a verse, it's a paragraph. So it's, we have more here to deal with. Sometimes people will take one verse and they'll build a whole thing out of it.
Yeah.
We actually do have quite a bit of information here. So the general claim that a lot of people make is hey, listen, you shouldn't be suing. Christians shouldn't sue. In particular, and I think appropriately, contextually, they limit this to lawsuits between brothers in the church, or sisters in the church. All right. So let's just I have a big question for you, and then I want us to try and walk through the verses.
All right, go ahead.
Is it biblically wrong for a Christian to sue another Christian?
No.
Can it be wrong?
Yes.
Okay. I agree. I think there is an overly simplistic, reductionistic understanding of these verses that lead people to fundamentalist rigidity.
Yeah. Or not even just that. I would say more whatever's their side going with.
Oh yeah, they'll bend it. They'll be for it in one case and against it in
the other. Yeah. There's a fluidity
yes.
to their rigidity.
Yeah. Ooh, there's a fluidity to their rigidity. Jimmy, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's better than white makes right.
No, it is. Oh, no, you said it.
Yeah, but you don't know how to do the thing.
I know how to do the thing.
You don't know how to do the thing. You don't know how to do it.
I do.
You don't.
I know everything.
Okay,
so let's look at this. I'll give you my take on it.
All right,
I'll give you my big picture take.
Big picture.
I think that in 1 Corinthians 6, it seems to me that what is being addressed are more trivial matters that can be settled by the church. Those smaller issues that can be settled by a local church should be settled by a local church. I think that's Paul's point. I don't think Paul's point is that there is never a case in which you should there is never a case in which you should sue. I don't think Paul's saying that.
Yeah, Paul's saying don't be sue happy Americans.
Yeah. He's like, hey, stop being American. In this regard, we are the most are we the most litigious country in the world? I mean, we in Germany they don't even cause we have family there. No, if you fall and break your arm at a skate park, that's because you fell down.
Yeah,
you don't sue the skate park.
Yeah, no.
What are you doing?
No, we are.
No, I could fall down on my way to the skate park and still sue the skate park.
Yeah,
didn't even get there.
I was thinking about skating.
Yeah, you tempted me. So that's what I think he's saying, and part of this is okay. So the church is supposed to handle it. Okay, so let's say you're talking to the church, and it's the church that has wronged you.
Yeah.
What if it's a church that has abused your children? We're just supposed to settle it with the church? How are you going to do that?
Yeah.
You got to involve, okay, so then, well, you appeal to the higher authorities within your denomination. Okay, well, what if you don't have that?
Yeah.
And even if you do, okay, fine. What if justice isn't accomplished? Well, then it says, well, you should just be defrauded rather to suffer wrong. Okay, well, clearly the Bible does tell us that we should be able to suffer well, suffer for righteousness' sake, and that's true. But we're also supposed to do justice. We're supposed to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. And while you, on the one hand, may be willing to suffer for righteousness' sake and suffer an injustice, we are not supposed to overlook the suffering of others.
Yes.
So if I want to suffer the injustice, that's fine. But I'm not willing to let you suffer an injustice when I can do something about it.
Yeah.
That's about protecting the innocent. That's about standing up for the orphans and the widows. So
that's pulling a Julie Roy's.
What
standing
part?
up for the voices.
Okay, all right. I was gonna say it's like you could.
And what
I got confused about what part you were saying because I don't. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
all right.
I don't know you
just confused me.
All right.
I don't know. This Perrier is going to my head. Almost flat Perrier.
The perfect.
It's a tiny little can.
It's a perfect size.
Let's look at that. The diameter is the size of your thumb. Look at that. Not my thumb. All right. So when one of you has a grievance against another, does he dare go to the law before the unrighteous instead of the saints? Or do you not know that the saints will judge the world? And if the world is to be judged by you, are you incompetent to try trivial cases? Okay, so clearly there's some eschatological principles here. Hey, listen, we're going to be judging, we're going to be ruling with Christ, and we should therefore be preparing for that, and we should have wisdom. And
there's wisdom, there's discernment, there's transparency, there's honesty, there's accountability.
And we're supposed to be able to go to the church and deal with our problems. So, number one, how are you supposed to do this when you're not in the same church?
Yeah.
This essentially assumes he's talking to the Corinthians. He's talking to people that are in one church.
Yeah.
If you're not in the same church, this becomes much more complicated and much more difficult. It doesn't mean you can't settle a problem. You get two churches together.
Yeah.
You can get an intermediary, peace bros, or I don't know what they call. Peace bros. There's a group of
peace bros.
There's like peace bros. I don't know what they are. They come in and they help settle conflict.
I have never heard of this.
There's a group of people.
Never heard of it.
They're they're like Christian
peace bros.
Christian. No, that's not what they're called. Christian conflict
mediators. Try that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Christian mediate. That's what it is. Mediation. Okay. What are they? They're like Christian media. 10 things you know about Christian media. Okay, I'm not even going to get like a guide.
Right.
Abide? No.
Just forget
Peace
it.
Bros. Okay. So you can do that, but it becomes a lot more complicated if you don't have that. But I think in particular here, this is not every single case of injustice or being wronged. Here we're talking about things that can actually be settled within the context of a local church. If that's possible, you should do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, things like, again, not when trivial. These things might not feel trivial, but they're not at the same degree as what Stone and more, right? But like, I don't know. I'm trying to think like if there's an argument, right? Like there's hurt feelings.
Right.
Someone said something that hurt someone else's feelings, or maybe said something about their character, maybe was gossiping. Like there are times where you can bring people together within a church and work that out, where one confesses and repents, and the other forgives and restores. Right? Like there are opportunities for that.
And even then, it's like, well, what if they don't repent? Well, then you can suffer the wrong in that case. I mean, that's what we're but you yourselves wronged and defrauded even your own brothers. Like you're. This is another thing. I'll save that. Why not rather suffer wrong? Right? Like it's okay. And there are opportunities to do that. But sometimes the stakes are higher. Sometimes the consequences are much bigger than that.
And sometimes by, involving the church on these sort of matters, then it can exercise church discipline where appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I know people who lost careers because of partnerships with another church member, and they bring it to the church, and the church says, he's not willing to repent, but you can't sue him. And it's like, this guy literally loses his career.
Yeah.
that's bananas. Now, you can make a choice to suffer the wrong. That's great, but I don't think he's bound to suffer that wrong when this guy broke a contract and took away his livelihood.
This is banter, right?
Yep.
So we had a business partner that tried to steal everything.
Oh, you told me about this guy, yeah.
Tried to steal everything in the middle of the night.
Of course, that's when you do it.
That's when you do it. Thankfully, we had a individual that handled.
He saw it coming?
He saw it coming.
Okay.
He saw it coming and warned
he gave you guys a heads up.
He gave us a heads up. We gathered everything, and this person was in leadership at a local large church down the road.
Okay.
And this business partner, and we were a part of that church, my parents were, and went and said something. Nothing.
Oh, the church says, like, no big deal? This guy was going to steal and...
Doesn't matter. No.
What did they say? Like, just not our business? This is your business?
Well, kind of like, this person says that they're entitled to it.
Oh, that's all you got to do?
That's all you got to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You just say you're entitled to something?
At that point, it was, it's he said, he said.
Okay.
And so...
Well, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
We can actually open up the books.
Yeah. We can, and so we did in the court of law.
Oh, hey there.
And everything had to be returned, plus damages.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And
so it's like, at that point, why should, our family lose everything?
Yeah.
Right? Our family.
What would have been the damage?
Everything.
So your whole company would have been shut down.
Gone.
Yeah,
not just shut down. No,
gone.
shut down. Stolen.
Whoa.
Everything.
You trust
everything.
Is that why you don't trust anybody now?
Yeah, because
that's why you guys are so closed. You're like, I ain't trusting anybody.
Yeah, well, yeah, because these Christian believers that sit there, and I remember sitting with this guy, praying with this guy, and just hearing him. I don't even want to say his name. Just things he would say.
John
to
MacArthur.
No.
I don't know.
No, it's obviously not.
Okay,
but just some of the things that. So yeah.
No, I don't think
honestly
I didn't know that much of those details.
Yeah, no, that was a moment where it was actually it was a good wake up call, because I was still young and a young believer, just starting off into getting into the ministry and exploring that aspect, and I was naive to think that if someone says they're a Christian, you can trust them 100%.
Yeah, they can even be not just claim to be a Christian. They can be a born-again believer, justified.
On leadership.
Yep.
In a large church.
And that does not guarantee anything, because we're still sinners.
There is something, that does not guarantee anything ethical.
Yeah.
When it comes to, and moral, when it comes to how one conducts himself in the business world.
Yeah. One other thing I want to say on this passage. Okay, so the reason that I think Jimmy and I are on the same page, we didn't actually discuss the passage before we sat down, because we don't do that sort of a thing usually.
Yeah. Mike Stone is right. Russ Moore is wrong. Continue.
Well, no, it just means that Mike Stone has the right to sue.
Yeah. So Stone's right. Yes.
Yeah. That's not no.
Stone is right.
You can say that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say it that way.
Go ahead.
Mike Stone. I'm good with words. I don't know how you can be so good with contract words, but then in talking words, you get it wrong.
Stone's right.
So there are situations that the church should handle, that the church should mediate, that there are situations that you could take to a court that you shouldn't take to a court when the church can handle it. But there are other situations that the church is not equipped to handle, or will not handle, or that mishandles, and you have the freedom to certainly go. Now, part of the reason I think that he's talking about more trivial claims is because the last thing that's said in verse 8. Now, he says in verse 7, listen, you should not be having lawsuits. Like, as soon as you do that, you're already losing, right? But I think he's referring to these inappropriate or not as worthy cases, because he says, why not rather suffer wrong? Why not rather be defrauded? Verse 8, but you yourselves wrong and defraud. In other words, this does not seem like they have a great case. It looks like, no, you're picking a fight too. Like you're motivated by greed. You're not motivated by righteousness. So this is what I think Paul's talking about. It's like you got two people that are fighting, and one might be more right than the other. One might have been the one wronged, but now he is responding in the wrong way. You're not wronging and defrauding somebody if you're taking them for court to reclaim what they took from you illegally. That's not wronging or defrauding. So I think we could stop saying that Christians can't sue Christians. And just because it's the guy that you don't like suing the guy that you do like, you don't get to use that argument. You got to look at the merits of the thing, right? Listen, if you get fired, I see it all the time. You see it a lot. Some people get canceled and lose positions of power or jobs because they said something a long time ago, and we've talked about that. They leave them alone, okay? Yeah. Like if they've apologized for that, like people can make mistakes and move on. We're all okay. But if you are saying awful and evil things, and you get called out for that, and you suffer the consequences, then you're going to reap what you sow. Yeah, you should still have a chance to make amends and repent.
Yeah.
But these things happen. Lawsuits sometimes justified.
Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts. You could follow us online on Instagram and Twitter at Doc and Devo, or on Facebook /Doctrine and Devotion. You can head to the website, doctrinedevotion.com. There you can contact us. You can sign up for the email blast, hit up the store, jofostore.com, and grab some gear. We got that fresh pod every Monday and Thursday. We got blog posts and video content over at the website. And we want to thank you, our all-access subscriber. This has been your Banter Truth on Tuesday. You got your weekday wisdom Monday through Friday. Sharing is caring. Send it on out there and let everybody else know why you are an all-access subscriber, and point them to doctrineanddevotion.com/all-access. Later.